first a few questions by Pakistani journalists.
शोएब 6 वर्ल्ड कप के मैच 5 वर्ल्ड T20 पाकिस्तान क्या करे कि इंडिया को वर्ल्ड लेवल इवेंट में हराए?
देखिए हार जीत तो होती है बट आई थिंक देर आर फ्यू एरियाज वेयर वी नीड टू इम्प्रूव स्पेशली आर बैटिंग इवन दो इट वाज अ टफ पिच टू बैट ऑन बट मैं समझता हूँ कि इससे अच्छा टारगेट हो सकता था। और दूसरी बात यह है कि हो सकता है हम और भी टीम से हारे हों ना जीते हों वर्ल्ड कप्स में बट ये है कि जब इंडिया की बात आती है तो वो ज़्यादा बड़ा हो जाता है बट हमें क्रेडिट ज़रूर देना चाहिए इंडियन टीम को द वे दे प्लेड ऑन डिफ़िकल्ट पिच।
शोएब कोई साइकोलॉजिकल प्रेशर है इंडिया के खिलाफ खेलने में या हम खेल बहुत बुरा रहे हैं?
देखिए बुरा अच्छा आप गेम का हिस्सा है वो आप खेलते रहेंगे और मैं समझता हूँ कि वी वर नॉट रियली एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट वी गोना गेट दिस काइंड ऑफ पिच और इवन धोनी सेड द सेम थिंग। हम लोग यही समझ रहे थे कि जो जैसा हम लोग बांग्लादेश के अगेंस्ट मैच खेले थे वैसे ही उससे सिमिलर विकेट होगा बट ऑब्वियसली वेदर इज़ नॉट इन योर कंट्रोल तो थोड़ा सा उसमें ये था टॉस भी नहीं हम लोग जीत पाए और ये तो गेम का हिस्सा है ये आपके हाथ में नहीं है चीज़ें बट येस देयर इज़ वन एरिया वेयर वी नीड टू इम्प्रूव एंड दैट इज़ आवर बैटिंग।
शोएब जिस तरह आपने कहा कि आप पिच रीड करने में गलती हुई 4 पेसर से खेलने का जो फैसला था इमाद वसीम एक ऑप्शन थे आपके पास कि एक स्पिनर हैं तो क्या मतलब पिच को रीड करने में जो है वो कुछ गलती?
देखिए वी ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग हम लोग सिर्फ आइडिया ही ले सकते हैं और अगर कंपैरिजन किया जाए तो जो लास्ट विकेट हम जिस पे खेले थे और उसमें और इसमें कोई डिफरेंस जो था वो नहीं नज़र आ रहा था बल्कि ये उससे बेहतर विकेट नज़र आ रहा था बट एज आई सेड इवन धोनी मेंशन्ड कि मुझे नहीं लगता था कि इतना स्पिन होगा इस विकेट पे और देखिए जो चीज़ें हमारे कंट्रोल में है वो हम लोग ज़रूर कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं बट जो चीज़ें हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है वो नहीं कर सकते बट एज आई सेड कि एक एरिया है जिसमें हमें काफ़ी सारी मेहनत की ज़रूरत है।
शोएब भाई मोहम्मद हफीज़ सबसे इन्फॉर्म बैट्समैन थे पाकिस्तान के हिसाब से तो उनको आज इतने पीछे खिलाया गया जब वो क्रीज पे आए बस 10 ही गेंद थे वो 5 गेंद खेल पाए इसके पीछे क्या थिंकिंग थी?
देखिए T20 एक ऐसा फॉर्मेट है जिसमें एवरीवन इज़ फ्लेक्सिबल और अगर देखा जाए तो हमारी जो ओपनिंग पेयर था वो काफ़ी सारे ओवर्स खेल चुके थे और आपने सही बात की मोहम्मद हफीज़ ज़रूर फॉर्म में है बट इफ़ वी लुक एट शाहिद अफरीदीज़ इनिंग्स ही द वे ही प्लेड इन द लास्ट मैच वो भी हमें नज़रअंदाज नहीं करना चाहिए और आई थिंक कैप्टन ऑलवेज लीड फ्रॉम द फ्रंट और ही फेल्ट कि मैं जाऊंगा तेज़ रन्स हो सकते हैं क्योंकि विकेट मुश्किल था रन्स बनाने जो थे इतने आसान नहीं थे इस वजह से ये है कि ये वाला डिसीजन लिया गया।
शोएब भाई इंडिया ने तीन जल्दी विकेट खो दिए थे और विराट कोहली युवराज सिंह क्रीज में नहीं थे तो आपको लगता है कि उस समय मोहम्मद आमिर से एक ओवर करवाया जा सकता था?
अब बिल्कुल कराया जा सकता था बट अगर देखा जाए तो मोहम्मद शमी ने 2 विकेट्स लिए थे तो एक तरफ से तो वैसे भी स्पिनर बॉल कर रहा था क्योंकि स्पिन भी हो रहा था और जब कोई बॉलर आउट करता है तो आई एम श्योर ही गेट्स हिज सेकंड ओवर और उसमें देखिए हमें बॉलर्स जो हैं उन्होंने अच्छी बॉलिंग ज़रूर की बट हमारा जो टोटल था इट वाजंट इनफ टू डिफेंड अगेंस्ट सच अ ग्रेट बैटिंग लाइनअप और हमें क्रेडिट ज़रूर देना चाहिए विराट कोहली की इनिंग्स को। आई थिंक ही वाज द ओनली डिफरेंस इन बिटवीन 2 टीम्स।
बड़ा मैच था प्रेशर मैच था और ऐसे मैच बारिश हो जाना और 2 घंटे तक मैच ना हो पाना थोड़ी एंजाइटी भी आ जाती है तो उसका कितना इफेक्ट पड़ा टीम पे? आपको कुछ लगता है कि उससे भी कुछ फ़र्क पड़ा?
मैं नहीं समझता उससे कोई फ़र्क पड़ा क्योंकि वी ऑल प्रोफेशनल्स और कोई इतने सारे यंगस्टर्स भी नहीं हैं काफ़ी सारे लोग जो हैं दोनों साइड से काफ़ी क्रिकेट खेले हुए हैं और उनको ये चीज़ ऐसा नहीं है कि पहली दफ़ा हुई है ये आई थिंक ऑन एंड ऑफ ऐसी चीज़ें होती रहती हैं बट आई डोंट रियली थिंक दैट इट हैज़ अफेक्टेड एनीथिंग।
शोएब क्या आपको लगता है कि आपके ओपनर्स बहुत ही ज़्यादा डिफेंसिव हो गए थे ऑल्दो विकेट थोड़ा टर्न भी कर रहा था मुश्किल भी था पर वो शायद उन्होंने बहुत ज़्यादा ओवर ले लिए और बहुत कम रन बोर्ड पे थे जब बाकी बैट्समैन आए?
हमारे या इंडियन टीम
आपके?
देखिए जब बॉल बहुत ज़्यादा टर्न हो रहा था, हाँ हम लोग एक चीज़ डिफरेंट ज़रूर कर सकते थे अगेंस्ट स्पिन बॉलिंग। हम लोग स्वीप शॉट या रिवर्स स्वीप ज़रूर खेल सकते थे, क्योंकि जब बहुत ज़्यादा टर्न होता है देन आई थिंक दो शॉट्स आर हेल्पफुल। और स्पिनर का लाइन भी ख़राब होता है। जैसे पेस बॉलर को आप यू गो डाउन द विकेट एंड ट्राई टू हिट, तो उसमें लाइन जो है आगे पीछे होता है। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि एज एज आई सेड कि वो सेम चीज़ है कि एक बैटिंग एक ऐसी चीज़ है जिसमें जो है इम्प्रूवमेंट की काफ़ी ज़रूरत है।
शुएब, पाकिस्तान टीम के साथ इतने सारे कोचेज हैं, आप समझते हैं कि एक ऐसे कोच की भी जरूरत है जो विकेट रीड कर सके?
देखिए अगर ऐसा कोई दुनिया में इंसान है तो आप सजेस्ट कर दें।
Shoaib, you briefly spoke about Kohli. You saw him bat in Dhaka as well on a difficult track. This is a completely different track. What is it about him that sets him apart from other batsmen in your sides combined?
Well, he backs his skills, and I think that's his key. And he reads the situation well, and he knows that how to play on any difficult track or flat track. He backs his skills. I think that's why he's very consistent. And I think you're the best coach for yourself, for your own self. I think if you talk to yourself, you will have all the answers. And I think as a batting unit, we also need to do the same thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cameras are rolling. Good evening, everyone. We have just Indian captain Amazon. Before we start this press conference, I would request all of you to check your phones first. It should be the silent in this mode. Indian team will be traveling to Bangalore tomorrow, so there will be no media activity and no practice sessions. And as you all know, I am sure there are a lot of questions, but apologies in advance. I won't be able to take all of them. I hope you all will understand. Thanks for your understanding. Amit.
No, I think he will be in best position to answer this, but whatever I can answer, I'll try to answer. I think it's the hunger to perform, that willingness to take up the challenge. Every opportunity, different people look at the same thing in different ways. That famous example of half glass of water, whether it's half full or half empty, how you see it. And I feel his biggest plus point is he takes everything as a challenge. He wants to improve. He wants to contribute in each and every game. And that's what it's all about, because he wants to contribute. He wants to score runs. He prepares well. He takes care of his fitness. He knows, he understands now in different wickets how he's supposed to bat so that he can score runs. And we all know once he gets going, once he gets a start, he always converts it into a big innings, which I feel is one of the most important thing for any youngster, coming into the game. When you're scoring runs, make sure you score a lot of runs, because everybody will go through a bad patch. And what you have to do is try to minimize that duration. And the best way is, when you're going through your purple patch, make sure you're scoring a lot of runs.
Why just an extension of this question? When, Virat has spoken a lot of times about how he, goes about chasing a target, breaks down into small targets, taking in consideration number of overs, wickets, whatever, calculations in his mind. When batting with him or watching from the outside, how do you see him building his innings, let's say in the T20 context at the moment, because it's been all T20 cricket. So how do you see him from the outside building his innings?
Well, it's very simple. What an innings is all about is how you're converting. When you are under pressure, there are few ways how you tackle pressure. At times we have seen in Test cricket or ODI and T20 format, when there's a lot of pressure, often individual, they go for the big shot. It seems at that point of time that that's the best option. But when you are under a lot of pressure, the best way to deal with is to take a single, go to the other end. Because that calms you down. At the same time, you have that positive intent because you're looking for a single. And you know your areas, and everybody knows what their strength is. For some it's a flick, for some it's a cut. So if it's in your area, you have to play your shot. If not, try to take a single, go to the other end. And if you see his batting, that's what he really does. And where he has an edge over others is, you have to push hard. That's why, he loves batting with individuals who can run hard with him. Because running hard is the easiest way to score runs. You hit it in the mid-wicket, between long on and mid-wicket. If you have two good runners, you can convert that 1 into 2 or 1.5 runs into 2. And that puts a lot of pressure on the bowler and the fielding side. So that's what it's all about, how you calculate, what are the stuff that you need to do. And of course, you need to bat, minimum 70 to 80 balls, to score 100. Yes, in the T20 format, we have seen 15 or 16 ball 50, but I'm saying on an average, you need to bat that many deliveries, and for that, you have to prepare yourself.
Neeru.
Why is Suresh Raina your best option at number 4, especially in conditions which are tougher or difficult?
Well, that's a very obvious answer. People don't score runs in 1 or 2 games. That question will be asked. If Shikhar doesn't score in one more game, the question will be why not Jinx to open and, Shikhar left out. So I feel it's important to back players. And at the same time, if you see, there are too many people who needs to bat at that number 3 slot. If you compare the stats, especially when it's happening in India, you'll see there are a lot of individuals who should bat at 3, but Virat gets an edge. And in the same way, I think he deserves that number 4 position more than anyone else. I feel it's important to back him. Yes, there will be tactical changes when he won't get that slot, but overall, I think he's the best option.
Keeping in mind the paucity of time, I would request to keep your questions brief.
Just how much did the surface take you by surprise? What kind of adjustments did you have to make as a captain? And just an extension, why not 4 overs for Ashwin?
Well, initially we never thought it will turn so much. Reading of the wicket, I thought there was a bit of moisture because they had watered the wicket yesterday, and I don't think they got much sun today. And the last time when I saw the wicket before the start of the game, I felt it was quite damp. And even when you roll the wicket, the top surface may look a bit good. It's more like a cosmetic thing because underneath there was a lot of moisture, and I feel it was because of the moisture that the spinners were getting a lot of turn. Even the balls that were bowled in quite hard, but if you hit the seam, you can turn the ball, and that's what Jadeja and Ashwin did. And as far as picking is concerned, the Pakistan batsmen, they are good players of spin bowling. And later on, I felt, there was a chance if I would have given Ashwin, they would have gone after him. I'm not saying he can't deal with it, but I went for the safer option. I said, even if some other bowler goes for 10 runs, I'm fair enough. I don't want to give them a big over, something where they can go in excess of 15 runs. I'm not saying he couldn't have bowled, but that was the thinking at that point of time, and I went for the safer option, though it conceded 12 to 15 runs. So. नहीं, हम सारी चीज़ें सेम रखते हैं. एंड इफ़ यू आर प्राउड ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट हम 11-0 उनसे जीते हैं, तो एक रियलिटी ये भी होगी कि हम हारेंगे, कभी ना कभी हारेंगे, चाहे आज हारे, 10 साल बाद हारे, 20 साल बाद हारे या 50 साल बाद हारे. बट ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि यू विल ऑलवेज कीप विनिंग. एंड ऑल्सो हमारा टीम अगर आप देखें तो काफ़ी इवॉल्व हुआ है. एंड समहाउ ICC इवेंट्स में हमारा परफॉर्मेंस काफ़ी अच्छा होने लगा है, चाहे आप लास्ट चैम्पियंस ट्रॉफी देखें या वर्ल्ड कप देखें, तो काफ़ी अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस हमने किया है, तो वो भी मायने रखता है. एंड आई फील वी हैव प्लेड गुड क्रिकेट, एंड दैट्स द रीज़न. बट इट्स समथिंग टू बी प्राउड ऑफ, बट एट द सेम टाइम आपको अपनी तरफ से हर बार उतनी जोर लगानी पड़ती है. जैसे उनके ऊपर प्रेशर हो जाता है 11-0 का, हमारे ऊपर भी प्रेशर हो जाता है 11-0 का कि 11 जीत गया. यार 11 जीत गया, 12 तो जीतना ही है. इट्स मोर लाइक अरे नहीं जीता.
Question from here, please. In the end, you took fielding. Is that a blessing in disguise because the Indian teams need to settle, especially the batting unit? They need to settle after the last game now.
So the reason behind choosing fielding was we thought there'll be some kind of assistant for the bowlers initially, and when there's a bit of extra moisture, the spinners also get a bit of turn. So that was the reason we said we'll also get to see how the wicket is behaving. And looking at it, we thought it can only get better. It can't get worse because it was not like a dry wicket, where it's very brittle and it's breaking down. So that was the reason, they would have been under pressure to score too many runs, thinking about our batting lineup. But at times what happens is to look for those extra 20, 30 or 40 runs, you end up getting 20 runs short.
You don't know what total to set on such wickets.
More than that, if you have won the toss, it's not like I'm winning the toss many times, but if you have the opportunity, why not?
Last question from Faisal, please.
Okay, I can't answer what I have in mind, but if you see, we have been in this position quite a few times. The good thing or the bad thing is you may argue, why you are always in this position plenty of times, but then you get experience of being in that position. You know how to turn it around. And I feel the credit needs to go to the players and the support staff. What you need to do to get out of it. We all know, performances like these are something that you don't want to do. I still remember, we lost a test series in England, but we did well in the ODIs. So to have a very bad game or a very bad series and to come back strong shows the kind of character the boys have. And I feel it's very important to back them or to have confidence in them that they will bounce back and they'll come back strong. But still, I feel there is areas where we can improve, and in the coming 2 games, that will be our first priority, because the first game, our run rate has it's quite down. But so it's not only about winning. You'll have to look at the run rate at some point of time.
Thank you very much.